This community won when Eastman's Keith Sturgill became our chairman of the board. Keith's presence and personality have been a true gift to all of us.
For 4 years, he stood on this stage, a natural-born storyteller. Offering words of encouragement.
So let's be bold and let's be courageous as we go down this road together.
And plans for success. He dared us to be better leaders, to think outside the box, to challenge the status quo by embracing disruption and the speed of digital transformation.
You know, we've come a long way from those early days, from a few seats in a small room to all of this. But you know what? The best is yet to come.
He has been a great leader of this community.
It's up to us. Our time is now.
And even protected us from bears.
Past few years, you've used a really great tagline here, beware of the bear.
Yeah, I love the bear. This bear will protect his turf literally at all costs. Beware of the bear.
Today, we honor and thank him.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome. He deserves a great round of applause. This is a man who is quite possibly one of the best storytellers I've met. Please welcome the ASUG chairman of the board, Keith Sturgill from Eastman Chemical. Keith, come on out. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wow. Great day. You know, you can't accomplish anything without the possibility of failure. This is a nugget of wisdom from Gary Lazarus Lakes Cantrell. He's the guy who formed a little-known endurance race that's known as the Barkley Marathons. This is a race that is so extreme that it's only had 15 finishers since it began in 1986. That's 15 finishers in 32 years. This run takes place in a place called Frozen Head State Park in the mountains of East Tennessee. This run is made up of 5 loops around a course that many would describe as absolutely insane. I mean, the race organizers, they estimate each of the loops to be, well, about 20 miles. But those that participate, they challenge that. They say each loop is closer to 26 miles, the length of a full marathon. And to finish this race, you've got to complete 5 loops within 60 hours. Completing the course means more than 100 miles and a combined gain in elevation of 60,000 feet. So let's put that in perspective. That's like climbing Mount Everest from sea level twice. Most of us will never attempt such a daunting physical challenge. I can guarantee you that I won't. But we all face challenges in our life, don't we? It can be personal or it can be professional. And the way we face those challenges will define our future. Whether we thrive or we simply survive. Whether we truly live or we simply exist. So remember, Laz Lake says you can't accomplish anything without the possibility of failure. Good afternoon. It is indeed my pleasure to be with you once again. This is, as you can tell, a really special week for me. This week, I complete my term as chairman of this wonderful organization. As a matter of fact, I have recently completed 32 years at Eastman. It has been an incredible ride for me and my wife, Linda. And as I've reflected a little over the past few years, about 32 years, I've had so many wonderful experiences and memories that as a young person growing up in Wise, Virginia, I just could never have imagined. I am truly blessed. So as I stand on this stage, I want to pass along some nuggets of information, some things that I've learned along the way. I'll let you decide if they're nuggets of wisdom. So much of what I've learned you can actually see in the experience of the Barkley Marathons. So you can probably tell the Barkley is a little odd. It's a little quirky. There's no advertising. There's no official website. There's no published rules. This race was actually inspired by the capture of escaped convict James Earl Ray, who had been in prison for the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King. Ray had escaped from Brushy Mountain State Prison and was on the loose for 55 hours. The mountainous terrain around the prison was so difficult that Ray, he only covered 8 miles in that 55 hours. So when Laz heard that news, he thought to himself, well, I could have covered at least 100 miles in that amount of time, and the Barkley Marathons were born. So this race has some other characteristics that are somewhat unique in the marathon world. In the Barkley, the participants actually cheer for one another. The opponent is the course, much more so than the other participants. The runners help one another before, during, and after the race. Participants and spectators alike celebrate the achievement of all the runners. And you know, as I've traveled my journey, I've come to realize that we accomplish very few things alone. It takes others, like-minded people, to help us along life's journeys. And you know, I believe this is true in all aspects of our life. Our network of family and friends, certainly in our professional lives. It is the people that ultimately make the difference. I mean, come on, you know this. We can have the greatest technology. We can have the best strategy. We can even have world-class products. But if we don't have the right people and the right culture, we will ultimately fail. And for those of us who lead others, whether it's a small team, a department, a division, or maybe even an entire company, as leaders, our responsibility is to attract, retain, and develop great people, period. As leaders, we are there to enable the success of the team, the success of the people. As leaders, we are there for the team. The team's not there for us. It's not about me, it's about the team. And community is all about mutual benefit, helping one another along the way. And ASUG is all about community, enabling our mutual success, because it's in the success of others that we truly succeed. So let's learn to celebrate community. Our opponent are the problems that we're trying to solve, not our teammates. Also, in the Barkley Marathons, the runners, they don't know the specific start time. All they know is that the race is going to begin sometime within a 12-hour period, somewhere between noon and midnight on the day of the event. In life and in business, we must be constantly ready to respond when opportunities appear, ready to apply our creative and innovative energies into improving our world. So prepare constantly and consistently to respond to a world that is changing at an ever-increasing pace. I mean, it has never been more important to be curious, to be inquisitive, to be a constant learner, growing and trying new things. You know, I don't believe in luck anymore. Luck is simply where opportunity and preparation intersect. So be curious and be ready and always be prepared. In the Barkley Marathons, they actually play taps for the runners that drop out. And remember, almost everybody drops out. So let's learn to celebrate effort, genuine, all-in effort. Celebrate the willingness to attempt big things, the things that many would describe as even unwise or even impossible. Be willing to try, not half-heartedly, but try with all your worth, with everything in you. I mean, maybe everybody around you is telling you to stop. Maybe your internal voice is screaming, enough, you've done enough. But I want to encourage you, keep on going a little bit longer. And when that moment comes, that moment when you know that you have given it everything, and only you will know when that moment comes, stop and celebrate like you've won a gold medal. because you know there is joy in the effort, joy in attempting things that few have the courage to attempt, joy in knowing that you've given your best. And once we have given our best, we're going to care less about how other people evaluate our performance. We're going to make our own judgments about success and about failure. So let's not forget to celebrate effort. In the Barkley Marathons, the course actually changes slightly every year. There's no GPSs allowed for runners of the Barkley. All you get is a compass and a small headlamp that helps you navigate in the dark. Your only direction comes from Laz's vague instructions, things like turn left at the tree with a fork halfway up. So like the Barkley, the world around us is constantly changing. Now, don't get me wrong. It is great to plan, but always know things will not work out the way we planned. So expect to be flexible, and dare I say, even agile in responding to the challenges that we're faced. Because let's face it, there's no GPS, there's no roadmap to where we're going. Learn to adapt and even anticipate the inevitable change. So let's practice being adaptable. In the Barkley Marathons, you got to embrace the possibility of failure. Accomplishing anything worthwhile in your life requires courage. Courage to do things differently. Courage to challenge the status quo. The courage to embrace the possibility of failure. I mean, come on. If you fear failure, you'll never attempt something as daunting as the Barkley. I mean, it is difficult beyond words. But for those who summon the courage, knowing full well that they will most assuredly fail, their courage will be rewarded. Many will learn that they could go further than they thought possible. They will learn that they could accomplish more than they ever thought, much more than they thought. Unless we are willing to attempt big and meaningful things, how will we know what we can accomplish? How will we know what we're capable of? If we don't attempt new things, how will we learn to overcome obstacles and overcome hardships? How will we grow? Because we don't embrace the possibility of failure, many times we choose to set smaller goals. And come on, let's be honest, goals that we're sure we can achieve. We sacrifice great. Now, don't miss this. We sacrifice great for the appearance of good. So let's be forever courageous and embrace the possibility of failure. In the Barkley Marathons, there are no winners, only finishers. The winning, I believe, comes in the attempt to try something you are almost sure you can never complete. So take the time to enjoy the journey, to have fun along the way, learn to laugh, to see the humor in the struggle. You see, one of the checkpoints along the Barkley are unmanned. There is simply a book at each of the checkpoints, and each runner tears out the page that corresponds with their race number. Well, these books, they have some interesting titles. So let's pretend you're a runner on the Barkley. You're struggling up the mountain, your muscles are cramping, exhaustion is setting in. You come up on that first checkpoint. You look and you find the book and you pull it out and it's got a title, Left to Die. So you tear out your page and you start into the next checkpoint. You're several miles later. You're even more exhausted. You don't even know if you can continue or not. You find the book and you pull it out and it's titled, Just Tell Me When We're Dead. So my advice, listen deeply, ask questions, and learn to laugh along the way. Oh, and by all means, let's be sure to finish well. So as I wrap up, and you go off to accomplish grand things, to tackle big problems, to change your world, always remember, alone we are limited, but working together we can do amazing things. Now, none of us are Superman. I'm reminded of a story told of Muhammad Ali. Ali was not afraid of flying, and I think we can all agree he was a confident man. So Ali was on a flight to one of his many engagements, and during the flight, the plane began to experience turbulence. Moderate turbulence, the pilot called it. So the pilot announced that everyone should make sure their seatbelts are buckled. So everyone on the plane quickly buckled their seatbelt, with the exception of Ali. And the flight attendant noticed, and she said, "Mr. Ali, buckle your seatbelt, please." Ali looked at her and said, "Superman don't need a seatbelt." To which the flight attendant said, "Superman don't need an airplane either." Ali buckled his seatbelt. Thank you so much. It has been my pleasure.